Hello, everybody. You've tuned into the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police. Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the Indiana State Police Alliance. We thank them for their continued support of the Indiana State Police Roadshow. We also thank Tom Trial, the man behind the scene, for putting us on YouTube each and every week. And we thank him for what he does. Wave, Tom. Good job. Way to go. All right. Today we have with us Sergeant Chris Lambert. Chris is the team leader, or what is your exact title now?
Dive Team Commander.
Dive Team Commander for the Indiana State Police. And is it Dive Team now, or is it USRT, or how we...
We were still referred to it as USRT, Underwater Search and Recovery Team.
Okay.
I think as far as acronyms go, it's the SCUBA team.
Okay.
Lets everybody know what we do.
Yeah, it's kind of... everybody understands that. The USRT, they might not actually understand, but SCUBA, right. Everybody knows exactly what that is. Chris, thanks for coming in today. We appreciate you having us here. We got some new equipment we're going to talk about that the dive team has just recently gotten and has kind of brought you up to speed on technology. But let's talk a little bit about you. How did you become an Indiana State Police officer, and where are you at now?
Let's see. I graduated from the State Police Recruit Academy in 1994. A year after I graduated from college in Indiana State. What got me to the state police was, I believe it started out maybe in T-ball.
Okay.
Every baseball coach that I had up until high school was either a firefighter or a police officer. I had police officers and firefighters that coincidentally lived in every direction from my house.
Right.
As a little kid growing up in Terre Haute, I believe it was the Mindy Taylor murder case that involved the state police divers, Brent Johnson, then Trooper Brent Johnson.
Yeah.
Doing an internship in college, I had the opportunity to attend some dives with other troopers, and
that planted the bug, didn't it?
Planted a bug, yep. And I applied to numerous other law enforcement agencies, but once the state police letter came, that was it. Yep.
Great. Well, let's talk a little bit more specific about the dive team. How did you become involved with the dive team then after you came on?
After I came on, I started scuba lessons when I was 14.
Okay.
In Terre Haute, farm ponds and strip pits, the same type of diving that we do now. It's not the glamorous.
Yeah, it's not what you see on TV.
Right, it's not the covers of the magazines. And I just knew that that's what I wanted to do. And I applied after I had about 3 years on the department, and was selected for our underwater dive school.
Right.
And that was in 1997, I believe I was selected. Early 98, we started class, and I've been in it since 98. So.
Now, how long is the dive team? How long have we had a dive team?
Our dive team was officially formed in 1960. Then Superintendent Harold Zeiss wanted to specialize in certain investigative areas within the state police. One of those was underwater investigations. We've had divers on the department or troopers involved in underwater activity since the late 40s and 50s.
Wow. And,
there's photographic evidence, even at the Pendleton district, of Dick Scholl in the mid-50s with an old Mae West, like a horse collar. Then it was a life jacket that I believe even has painted on it Eastern Airlines. So it's we've been doing this for a long time, but it was officially since 1960. And everything that I've read, the only other team that was even being developed at the time was Miami-Dade, I believe.
Okay.
Around 1960. But other than that, the first official team outside of the ISP in Miami-Dade was 1963.
Wow. So I'm sure the superintendent saw a need.
Yes.
And fulfilled that need, because I'm sure that we probably helped a lot of other departments and things out around the state at that time that didn't have that fulfillment.
Right. And I don't think, well, for years, I don't think that anybody had the capabilities that we did. By the end of the first year, there were 36 troopers that had been certified to dive, initially sharing 4 sets of gear.
Wow.
So I think in the heyday, the mid-1970s, I think the department had 75 divers and well over 1,000 dives a year. Again, probably the only game in town.
Right. So what strength are we at now? What do we have?
Currently, by policy, we are at allotted manpower of 20.
Okay.
We have 19 active divers on the department now, and we are spread out geographically around the state. We're divided into 3 squads, north, central, and south, the same as our other specialty teams, SWAT, EOD. And that's the way we operate in those geographic regions.
And you guys do a lot more than what people think about it. You know, they're thinking you just go out and maybe recover bodies, unfortunately, and things like that in vehicles. But you guys do a lot more evidence, things for other departments that are searching, and your practice dives. And it's not the glory dives like you say on TV. These are can't see in front of your face right here, and a lot of times like what we're experiencing today in very, very frigid temperatures.
Exactly. It seems like when the weather gets colder, we get a little bit busier. So we've got some technology that allows us to operate in those kind of environments. And when you were talking about the water being not glamorous, there's been several times, and I've even got to always take a picture of the signs that say do not or avoid human contact with this water. It'll make you sick. But that's where we routinely go. And
do you find that when you get into those areas or you get new divers, this is what they're experiencing? Do they recognize that as Indiana waters, or is it something that they've seen on TV and they think this is going to be glorious, and it's not what they remember?
I think that when they first come in, scuba diving is still what you see on the front of a magazine.
Right, yeah.
And they learn
the Keys in the Caribbean.
Exactly. The colorful fish and the clear water. And you know, when you're not doing that, you're sitting on the beach, getting a suntan in a swimsuit. But they learn very quickly that that's not what it is. They spend 3 weeks in the pool before we even get them to open water. And the majority of that time in the pool, they're in a blacked out mask where they have to do everything entirely by feel. That includes not only searching and recovering evidence or victims, but also being able to operate all of their equipment underwater just by feel, and working their way through multiple problems that they have with their equipment just to survive.
And they haven't even encountered the trash that we have in Indiana, the logs and the cars and the old fence and everything that's down there that you guys encounter that people wouldn't even think about.
Exactly. They'll get that. They'll get that after about 2 weeks of open water. They'll have 22 planned dives during dive school, and then they'll have a final evolution, a team event.
Well, let's talk a little bit what you brought in here. It's some interesting stuff that you got on board here. What's this new equipment you got? The
new equipment that we are transitioned to is the Interspiro surface applied air system. Okay. It is not only surface applied air. That's the nice thing about this system, is we can use it as independent scuba equipment, open circuit scuba, but it does give us all new equipment. So, some of our equipment had been outdated.
Right.
And adopting this system not only modernized our equipment, but replaced a lot of the aging equipment that we have. The Interspiro system is in use by militaries around the world. It's been approved by the U.S. Navy, and it's in active service with them, with the U.S. Air Force. And I think the Coast Guard just received or is getting ready to receive their delivery of this equipment. But it brings us, I guess, to the forefront in public safety diving as far as technology goes.
So you say surface applied air. Does that mean it's not on with you like we traditionally remember?
No. With this system, the divers will wear a buoyancy compensator, which is the jacket-style device that allows us to adjust our buoyancy in the water.
Regulate how far up and down you are?
On their back, they will wear these carbon fiber cylinders and a full face mask. The way that this system becomes a surface-applied system is there is I guess in essence, a manifold that the diver wears that they plug in a supply line, a hose that supplies them with air. Once you're onto that system and that system or that supply line is pressurized, the system automatically takes all of its air from the surface. And in the event of an emergency or the diver becomes entangled, they can actually detach from that system. The system automatically transitions to an open circuit scuba, and the diver can then either continue with the dive operation, maybe unfoul a supply line from entanglement, or they can abort the dive and safely ascend to the surface with considerably more air than what we carry now.
Yeah, so that's more than you traditionally carry anytime or beforehand.
That's correct. These cylinders are carbon fiber. They have a plastic liner, and they operated about 4,350 psi. But the volume of air in the cylinders is approximately 140 cubic feet, which is almost twice what we carry now in a traditional aluminum 80 cubic foot cylinder.
Wow.
So it's on the surface applied system. This is the biggest, what we call a pony bottle or a bailout bottle.
Right.
The biggest pony bottle that you're going to get.
Now, how does the surface supply work? Is it like a compressor up there? Or?
No, this system, there is a surface supply panel, and in that surface supply panel, the system is actually powered. It can be powered by multiple sources, which is great for us, especially working with other fire departments and other police departments. We can power the system using any compressed air source, like the cylinders that the diver has on his back. They can be dismounted from the BC and used. All of our 80s aluminum cylinders that we use now, we can use those to power the system. Any firefighter's SCBA bottle, if the fire department has a tactical vehicle with Cascade air system on it, we can plug directly in to that system, and it's virtually unlimited.
Yeah, because it's making its own air right there.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Multiple sources. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's cool. So how long have you had this? Have you had a chance to try it out and use it?
Yes, we have. We took delivery of the majority of the equipment earlier in December. And for 3 days in December, we actually had training. Interspiro sent their factory trainers to us. We went to Logansport, which is where we traditionally do our statewide training. And we spent 3 days on the system. We had 1 day where we had classroom and pool, which ended up being about a 12-hour day. And the next 2 days we were in open water, working the bugs out of the system, making sure that all of the divers were fluent in how to completely assemble then disassemble the system. And
were they happy with it?
Oh, yes. Yep.
Very good.
Yep.
And I understand you also have a new communication system also.
Yes, the communication system that comes with the Interspiro system is a hardwired system. We have, to this point, used wireless communication, which has limitations. It's line of sight. There are some limitations as far as distance, and a lot of interference. If there is a boat that's running a motor over you, you get that static. We cannot run sonar with it because the divers will get that feedback in their headphones. But with this system, it is a hardwired communication system, and it sounds like you and I talking right now.
Well, that's what I've heard.
That's how clear it is.
Yeah, talked to some people that have utilized this. Superintendent Carter was talking about. He must have been there when you were trying it out, and he said,
Yes,
it's like us talking here.
Well, I'm trying to get the superintendent to dive it because he used to be a diver.
Exactly.
If you noticed when he was on your show, he had his dolphins on.
Yeah, yeah.
But earphones that work underwater, and they're bone conducting, so they don't have to be over your ears. They just have to be in contact with your the bones of your skull at some point. Inside on this system, it's voice activated, so there's a waterproof microphone on the inside of the mouthpiece, and this is the cable that actually plugs into the communication line that goes to the surface. With the wireless, we had voice activated capability, but most of the time, just because of ambient noise and using a little bit more air when you're talking quite a bit, the divers would go to a push to talk, and if you were busy searching, had your hands full, it'd be very difficult sometimes to push that button, even to have a short, brief conversation.
So I understand you're going to have two cables going up. Then you got your air supply, and you've got this cable going up.
Actually, they are integrated to a point. The supply line itself is only about 11 millimeters in diameter. It's Kevlar and aramid fiber wrap. OSHA considers it a I forget what the term is, but it's a lifeline.
Okay.
It's got about a 2,000-pound plus tensile strength.
So you can be pulled out with it.
Yes. Yep, we can. And then the communications line is actually wrapped around the outside of that line, and it's got a polypropylene sleeve that can keeps it all together. And it's neutrally buoyant. The divers, unless you kick it, you don't even know it's there.
Wow.
So it's pretty impressive.
Well, we're down to 50 seconds. We've talked our whole time here, but this is great new equipment. I'm sure you guys are excited with what you got here, and it sounds like it's going to make your job a lot easier in these Indiana waters.
A lot safer.
Yeah, because again, we've talked before that it's right up here and black conditions, and with that new communication system, I'm sure it's going to help you guys out tremendously.
Yes, it is.
Well, Chris, thanks for coming in today. We appreciate you coming in and bringing the new equipment that you got. And hopefully you won't have to use it except on maybe recovering some evidence for some people and not have to use it in emergency situations. But it's good to know that you got it in case you have to. You've been listening to the Indiana State Police Roadshow, brought to you by the Indiana State Police Alliance and Cops for Kids, a subsidiary of the Indiana State Police Alliance. I want to thank Chris Lambert, Dive Commander for the Indiana State Police, for showing us some new equipment. We'll talk to you next week. The Roadshow is out.